Before we get into the video, check out our sponsor, Fractized. They offer cheats for different games such as CS2, GTA, 5M, Red Dead Redemption, Apex Legends and accounts. More info later in the video. Hello and welcome to the third video of HvH Academy. This video will focus on peeking in Spread HvH and Nospread. First of all, why is peeking important? Due to how CS2's netcode works, when you peek the opponent, you'll be the first to both be able to see them and the first to be able to shoot them, and most of the time, the first to be able to also get the kill. Let's start with the things you need to know before peeking. These include peek advantage, ping advantage and backtrack, which are integral to peeks and health-based peeking. First of all, the peek advantage: whoever peeks first not only sees the opponent first, but also shoots first. This is due to the time it takes for the server to receive your inputs then transmit them to the opponents. Second of all, the ping advantage: on a very basic level, if you have 50 ping and the opponent has 40 ping, when you peek, you'll see them 50 milliseconds before the server does and 40 more milliseconds after that, they will see you. When you shoot them, it will take 50 milliseconds to register your shot to the server and 40 more milliseconds to register for the opponent. This means that in total it will take whatever your ping is combined with their ping to equal how much time your action takes to show up for them. Third of all, backtrack. The server counts whatever your client says is true. For example, if player 1 says I have shot player 2, the server asks itself if that can happen where player 1 was looking. And if you are within your ping a few milliseconds range, then it's a valid shot and it registers killing player 2. Otherwise it's a miss. This obviously means cheats exploit this range to be instead your ping 200 milliseconds instead. Last of all, if you have a lower health when peeking, even if you have an advantage, it takes more time for you to shoot the opponent's head than it does for your opponent to shoot your body, which means you can get shot in the body faster even if you have the peeking advantage. In theory, if both players' bodies can be shot, it goes in the favor of the player that shot first. For example, if you are on 10 health and you peek, before you get to shoot them, they'll shoot you trough the corner of the wall. Now onto the types of peeks we have. Defensive peeks. These are used very often on defense as peeking gives you the advantage a high majority of the time. Shoulder peeks. These are used as a counter peek to the defensive peeks. Backtrack peeks. These use the backtrack function of cheats. Crouch peeks. These are extremely stupidly overpowered for no reason due to duck peek assist. They can't be backtracked nearly at all. Min damage peeks. These are peeks where your goal is to shoot the opponent if they mess up trough the corner of the wall, which is often wallbangable. Jiggle peeks. These are used for baiting the opponent to peek while you do not to gain peeker's advantage. Fake peeks. These are used to break the lag compensation system of cheats, often by uncrouching, like if you're about to peek them and then crouch again to bait a shot from the ragebot. Wide peeks. These are used to bait a shot into the backtrack or lag compensation systems by increasing your speed or decreasing it rapidly. They also work to catch low-skilled opponents in unexpected swings. From this point, we'll be going in depth into peeker's advantage, backtrack and other. Look at the text shown on screen to understand who has peeker's advantage and when.
Ярый беспредел, лотает пида не ел, бейт марило кундила мондиали. Ей касар пила скинари, куцити сопумнали, ниференди старый дела мити тела мари. Ярый беспредел, лотает пида не ел, бейт марило кундила мондиали. Локундила мондиали. Сон мылцы торашу ку движение дялу на наши беспредел.
Hopefully those clips summarized the gist of peeker's advantage. If you want to apply it in game, just think of who would have peeker's advantage in the certain situations you're in. For backtrack, I would highly recommend to enable either backtrack cams or backtrack skeleton to have a visual indication of how far you can shoot behind the opponent. You can also make it so it's not only the furthest one, but it will look very ugly and be mostly impractical. Next up we have lag compensation. In order to be more precise when shooting, all cheats have a lag compensation system which can make the cheat shoot by predicting if your ping is higher. This was also present in CSGO, but in that game it was much more important as cheats could have teleport exploits that were lag compensation based, delayed anti-aims and others that aren't present in CS2. With duck peeking, this can be exploited to make cheats think you're going to peek them but actually you don't and they just shoot, giving you an easy kill. All of this information applies to both Doubletap and no Doubletap Spread HvH. Now we're going to go over the individual important mechanics to peek in each individually. For no Doubletap HvH, your head should always be behind cover when peeking or as close to it as possible to maximize the time it takes for your opponent to be able to shoot your head. For Doubletap, there are two styles of peeking, no direction and flick. No direction refers to not moving the head at all when peeking. This doesn't require too much skill to use, and you'll see it most often. Flick refers to flicking your head away from where the enemy is peeking to give them a harder time to shoot you, as Doubletap allows you to instantly kill by shooting in the body, making it very precise. Both of these can also be used on no Doubletap, but are significantly less effective. Now the last thing we're going to talk about is no Spread HvH. Peeking in this mode is a lot about timing and faking opponents. When jumping, there are many ways to increase and decrease the hitbox. First of all, regular jumping. This does not reduce or increase the hitbox of the player model. That means it's optimal for peeking crouched opponents and opponents on the ground, but if someone is above you, it makes it unoptimal to peek this way. Secondly, we have duck jumping. To do this, crouch then jump. This by itself reduces the hitbox vertically, but letting go of crouch makes it even better as it misplaces your shooting angle upwards, meaning you can shoot with the standing hitbox instead of the crouching hitbox while still maintaining the crouching hitbox. Next up, the worst possible way to peek is jump crouching. This is the opposite of crouch jumping, as instead of reducing your hitbox, it maintains the same one while your shooting angle is lower, making it harder to hit. If you'd like to apply these tips, check out our sponsor Fractized Resell and buy one of their HvH cheats such as Nixware or Plague. Thank you for watching. This was the third part of HvH Academy. If you like my content, make sure to subscribe. And if you have a tip for beginners, feel free to share it in the comments.